Dear me, where do you start with that one? It's so late. I'm doing this at 12:15 at night, but I've got to get this off my chest because it was so frustrating. It was just simply drop points against Brighton today at home. And I'll talk a little bit tactically about the game and the way that it went, but obviously I'm going to touch on some of the players, in particular a player that I think his current form is massively concerning for our system, for himself, for our creativity, for everything that West Ham have built the success of their system upon. So first half, obviously, in a 4-2-3-1, I actually thought it was spot on out of possession from David Moyes. And I know some people tonight are frustrated with the subs, and we'll of course get to that. But playing Ben Rama on the left, Bowen, it, I think we tried to squeeze the midfield a little bit higher. We didn't want to allow, and ironically allow, someone like a Brighton and a Basuma to dominate the ball. We wanted to get the overload very quickly on them if we were able to regain possession, and we wanted to leave them isolated. So from that perspective, it worked, and I could understand it. I think protecting wider areas and getting Bowen and Ben Rama to drop slightly deeper stopped Brighton's build-up play. Yes, they had opportunities, but at the same time, I never felt that we were massively under threat by Brighton because our shape was very good in principle. Now, I think the way and the dynamic of the game changed because West Ham got that goal. I think that masked our lack of creativity and our lack of quality in those transitions for the majority, if not for all of that game. And incredible delivery. I've got to say, I think from set pieces, Brighton were identified as having problems there. West Ham exploited it because of the movement, particularly against teams that zonally mark. So happy for Souček in terms of the goal that he got as well. Now, I think I went into halftime feeling relatively comfortable because I felt that if West Ham could maintain exactly what we did in the first half, despite the lack of quality, and we had a few chances from deliveries, from breakdowns. Fornals cracked one off the bar. If that goes in, maybe we feel much more comfortable. Maybe Maupay's goal doesn't matter at all because of how late it is. The second half is really where it went downhill, and this is my issue. And I said this, and you can pull it up in a Crystal Palace review when we drop points against them as well. Teams that press us are causing us nightmares, and we don't know how to deal with it. Not only did I say that, but teams in particular, Wolves and Brighton, they've pushed their fullbacks, their wingbacks incredibly high, Cucurella and Veltman, and those players actively aren't doing anything. Brighton felt comfortable enough to say we don't have to build from deep here. We're going to stick those players high and wide, and we're going to stretch it back four, and we're going to force your attacking midfielders deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's exactly what happened. And West Ham didn't counter it for large periods of the game. Now, I haven't got an issue in playing deep against Brighton. I didn't even really have that much of a problem in terms of giving up possession. But the longer the game went on, the more that we allowed Brighton to control the ball, it felt like it was inevitable that they were going to create a chance throughout that game that was going to get them the points. Herein lies the biggest problem, tactically and above all, us in transition. We are not the same team when Antonio isn't performing. And I could spend 10 minutes talking about Michail Antonio. And in terms of hold-up play, he just simply isn't holding up the ball. He's not competing. In terms of taking players on, he's not doing that. He's losing the ball. And like I say, I haven't got a problem with West Ham want to be in a counter-attacking side. I haven't even got an issue with us sitting slightly deep and allowing us to get the ball from deep and drive. But when you're consistently losing it, it puts consistent pressure on our defence. And Brighton, with the way that they play, the fact they brought Lamptey on as the right wing-back, again, stretched us in terms of a tactical plan from Potter. That was massively astute, a player that can come inside, that can play inverted. I think from more and more from Brighton, we were seeing a lot of their attacking players play those inverted positions as West Ham sat deeper and deeper. And so it just became more and more frustrating. But that comes from losing the ball from Michail Antonio. And above that, not only was Mickey's performance poor, when Antonio's not holding the ball up, when West Ham aren't retaining the ball in those areas, we got a big problem. There's just not enough movement off of him. Now, granted, in this game, Fornals is going to have to protect the left-hand side, and I thought he did very well in terms of doing that. But normally we see Antonio hold the ball up or keep the ball long enough to introduce our attacking midfielders. When he can't do it and we lose the ball, they are null and void and they're not effective enough. And I could sit here and I could talk individually. I think Bowen's finishing was poor tonight. It's actually a shame for me because I felt that in terms of the first half, his role in pressing was very good. His intensity, I think his ball carrying has been good this season and was in that game. But his finishing, his composure in front of goal needs to improve. It's magnified by the fact that West Ham just simply aren't creating enough chances when Antonio isn't keeping the ball and introducing the others into play. And that's why it's become an issue. I don't think Bowen has been clinical For a long period of his West Ham career, I think he's improved massively, granted in the final third, and I think we see a lot of that, but he's still not composed enough when he's getting the opportunities. The fact that we are looking to rely on Jared Bowen as our only player that can carry the ball effectively enough and get in on goal is a problem and goes against everything that West Ham system is. And there were opportunities. And that's where I sympathise with Moyes ever so slightly, where he said that there were chances for West Ham to win that game, of course. Now, I haven't even mentioned the disallowed goal. I don't want to comment on it, and I'll save it for another video because I just simply don't know the rules enough. From what I understand, it was offside because the keeper is always classed as the last man, and Antonio's got a touch before it's gone in. I don't know. Put it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on that. I'll have to review it, but I'm just talking about the flow of the game. And Brighton did deserve a point. I literally don't. I don't think you could argue any differently. But the breakdown in play from our forward players, again, Ben Rama, there's a lack of quality in terms of end product, and it's frustrating for me as a person that's backed Ben Rama and believes in his quality, and I've always believed he can work in this West Ham team, and he's adapted, and the movement that he's shown off the ball has been brilliant. But I just feel that at the minute he isn't offering enough, and maybe that's because Antonio's not holding the ball up enough, and maybe West Ham can't create that transition that they're used to doing. Maybe it all factors into it, and Mickey's form dropping highlights a lot of these players' inefficiencies. Ben Rama's end product, Bowen's finishing. So that was hugely frustrating. The goal, and again, I hate digging out players. I really don't like doing it, but this is twice now in quick succession that Arthur Masuaku has made a mistake. I'll get onto Dawson, but he's coming on and bringing him on. Actually, on that note, I actually thought West Ham did look better for the first 5 minutes. That West Ham changed the shape. We went to a back five. Again, we had the security in terms of going and pressing. I thought our pressing from the front was a lot better. It was a lot more intense. It was stopping Brighton dominate the ball as much. I think Manu Lanzini was a massive part of that, and I thought he was absolutely incredible when he came on, just in terms of pressing, winning the ball, keeping the ball. It was all a little too late in the end, but I was really impressed from that perspective. And I thought that West Ham would go on to, even if we were ineffective in terms of taking our chances, we would go and win the game 1-0. Arthur's positioning for in these situations is so poor. I cannot understand how that left-hand side, and I spoke about West Ham system, the left-hand side player, the attacking midfielder, the wing-back, has to be disciplined in terms of protecting the full-back. You cannot allow, particularly against Brighton, where you've got Lamptey, you've got the opportunity for an overload with Trossard, you've got Neal Maupay making movement in the box. You cannot afford to not protect Ben Johnson, even in a back three. And there is where my real frustration lies with him, because I don't question his qualities. Again, I didn't think he was great in terms of forward play and deliveries into the box. That was an issue. And given the lateness of the game and the quality of chances that we needed to create, we lacked a Creswell in that sense as well. Again, I understand his work rate. I understand that he can press, but positionally, we cannot afford, in games where we are underperforming at the minute, to have a player like that on the pitch. And it really frustrates the life out of me. And listen, I'll be as balanced as I possibly can, but that isn't good enough. That really isn't good enough. And Moyes will be fuming. Moyes will be absolutely raging because he's walking away with a win when we really didn't deserve it. You know, you could say we took our set pieces, we were clinical in that sense, but other than that, obviously Brighton dominated a lot of the ball, created most of the chances, dominated the second half. They probably would have deserved the points in that sense. So that's the fine margins I was talking about the other day. So it's massively, massively disappointing, and I don't know what the issue is with Michail Antonio. I know he played the other day. I said it was good for the first 20, 30 minutes. It's fatigue. I don't know. But the bigger concern to me is when his form dips, we've built a system on him. We have built a system around him. And when his form dips, the form of the attacking midfielders dip as well, because they are unable to do what they do so clinically in the final third, in terms of chance creation, in terms of shots on goal, in terms of goals, assists. That's the bigger systemic problem that I think we've got when his form dips. But I will discuss it for another day. Thank you so much for joining me on this very long-winded post-match reaction on the final word. If you do enjoy this, obviously drop a like, subscribe to the West Ham Way if you're watching and you're new. The show that I cannot remember the name of, All Things West Ham, will be out on I'm tempted to put it out late on Thursday. I'll get a Chelsea preview out. I might get Matisse on as well, just to sort of chew the cud on that. But we will go into further detail on Manu Lanzini's position within the team, Arthur Mazawaku. Michail Antonio, of course, is a prime point. Bowen's finishing, Ben Ram's end product. There are so many things. And just on a final note, just to kind of keep it positive, Declan Rice was outstanding at times tonight. And I think he's at times he stands head and shoulders above players. I'm very, very impressed with him in terms of dealing with pressure as well, which I think West Ham definitely do need to do and definitely has been hallmarked by that Brighton performance. Take care. Try and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch up with you all shortly. Come on, you eyes. Knowing us, we'll go and get something against Chelsea. Fingers crossed. This is just typical West Ham.